Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, you're back with the Invincible Chef. And today we're gonna go over something that I've seen, it seems to be very simple. It's fun to do, and it makes it easy to celebrate, whether it be tailgating, having a party, or a special event. A lot of people think barbecue is complicated, and you have to do all of these extraordinary things, and all the dishes are difficult to make. Once again, what I said before, barbecue comes down to proper meat preparation, temperature regulation, and that's going to take care of everything. All right, you set your grill up so you can get the temperature right, but you make sure you use the proper seasonings in the preparation for the meat and the product that you're going to barbecue. Now, one of the things I use to help people get their confidence up is pork belly burnt ends. It takes a little bit of time, not as long as many items. It can be done fairly quickly within the frame of a barbecue party or something like that. But also, it's something that you could build your skill set with. It's something everybody likes, and it's like a finger food, a barbecue finger food, as it were. Now, there's two ways that you can make these burnt ends. You can do it candied, like the meat candy with the sauce and the honey and things of that nature, or you can just do them regular for the nice, savory, tender treat that you can pick up and eat in the meantime while you're waiting for the main items to get done. So what I'm going to do today is show you how to pick a choice piece of pork belly, this part with the skin on it, trim the skin off, cut it into cubes, which you will then season, put into the smoker, and prepare to have a really nice, delicious finger food. Now that I've given you that breakdown, let's go ahead and get started. You see here, we have a piece of pork belly, all right? And the pork belly basically is this part of the meat right across here, like with your abs and things like that. There's different layers, obviously quite a bit of fat, but you see this one is kind of thick and meaty, which is what you want, because when the fat renders down, the meat is gonna be left, and putting it on the smoker is gonna make that meat very tender and flavorful. But you're gonna season it all, because the water in the fat is going to be part of that rendering, which will be infused with the seasonings and give it the flavor. So what we're gonna do is take our nice boning and fillet knife, and we're gonna trim back. You take the blade at an angle, flat to the skin, and then you just pull towards it as if slicing. What that's gonna do for you is help you separate that fat and pull the skin away. Now, patience is a virtue on this, because especially if you have a sharp knife, which I do, you're gonna wanna be in a hurry sometimes to hurry up and get that skin off. But if you do it too quickly, what you're going to do is you're going to cut away too much of the fat. And the fat is what helps it to be a tender, juicy treat when all is sold. So what we're doing here is starting at that angle, pulling back towards you, there. And as I'm doing, I'm gradually pulling back the flap of the skin, leaving the fat. It's almost like I'm slicing, but not really. And as I do this, right along the lining of the skin and right above the fat cap, I'm leaving just enough, maybe a 1/4 inch of that fat there, because there's plenty in between the muscles and the layers of meat that you're gonna find when it's time to season it. So obviously, these cuts are gonna be a little bit imperfect because this meat is merely cold at a proper temperature. It's better done when the meat is just inside of thawed, because it's gonna be solid and the fat is gonna be more firm. It's gonna give you more control when you make those cuts. So, as I was saying there, we're gonna continue. We're almost to the end. Patience is a virtue, because with pulling off these fats and skinning this portion of meat, it can be very frustrating over time, especially when it's soft like this, because the fat is soft, it's a little bit slippery, you know, and you're like, I just wanna get this over with and I wanna yank it off. But you'll reward yourself for being patient if you slowly and patiently trim this back and leave yourself enough fat to enhance the flavor profile and the tender texture. Now, there we go. We've removed that fat. I'm gonna set this aside for a second so we can get to what's really important. Look at the thickness of this. When you eat bacon, this is what you're getting, really thin slices of pork belly, okay? Smoked and then seasoned up so that you get different type of flavor profiles from the bacon and everything. Some people cure their bacon and things like that. I don't cure any of my meats. right? Because I do not like the chemicals that are in some of the curing salts and things like that. Sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, those things can cause you health problems down the line in a cumulative effect. So what I do is I prepare the meat fresh and directly, and I use the salt that's within my rubs to give it that curing effect, as it were. So now we can see that open side with the meat there. You can see the striations in the meat. This is a really good piece, thin membrane on it. So it's gonna be a lot of meaty flavor in this one. You get yourself a long strip, because generally the pork belly is gonna be about the size of this cutting board. But for the purpose of instruction here, and so you guys can see what I'm doing, I have it cut into smaller strips. You take a long strip and then you cut across it. That's why I was gonna have a nice sharp knife. And you want to cut it as best you can into cubes, okay? Because when you cut it into these thick cubes, when they start to smoke, take on the smoke and the flavor and the rendering of the fat, you're gonna have a nice bite-sized tasty treat, and it's gonna be very tender. But you want the cubes to be fairly big and feature these levels of fat and meat, and that's how you're gonna get it to where it's that much more enjoyable. I actually got a really good piece with this one right here. So as I continue, I'm going to, for demonstration purposes, continue to slice a few more of these cubes. As you can notice here, if you look, I have a pan with some previously cut cubes and everything, so we can expedite the process and show you how easy it is to make a really nice snack like this. So I'm gonna take an opportunity to cut these last few. And as I do this, I'm going to let you know that this is a good party starter. And if you're a person that's new to barbecuing, whether you use a smoker or whether you use direct heat, this is something that is very difficult to mess up. And once you make these a few times and get that flavor you're looking for, it definitely will build your confidence level. And one thing about barbecue, it's all about confidence. The confidence comes from consistency. If you use the right processes every time, and you don't change it up, then you're gonna get your definitive flavor, So be consistent is what I can recommend. And if you are consistent, then you'll have a signature flavor to your dishes, and then people will be a fan of your cooking. Now that we have these cubes cut, the next thing we're gonna do is apply the seasoning in the rub. I'm gonna set this skin piece aside so I can show you how we fold the seasoning in here. First thing we're gonna do is make sure we spread them out as even as we can possibly get them. And once we have them spread out, we're gonna take the rub and we're gonna spread it across evenly across the top. So we make sure there's enough of a coating on every piece that's visible, because we know that there are pieces underneath the stack. And that's fine. When you get to moving it around and folding it, the little bit of moisture on there and the stickiness of the fat is going to make the seasoning move around and attach itself to the other pieces. So be generous with the motion. Go in and flip, turn, push, and twist in a nice folding motion to make sure every one of these pieces comes in contact with each other and shares that seasoning. Because I'm telling you, excuse the cool points on that one, that once you know that you got all these evenly seasoned, you're gonna be in for quite a treat. And a lot of people say, oh, don't season the fat and everything. To each his own with barbecue. My experience has taught me that when the seasons intermingled with the fat and the fat renders the juices that come from that correlate to a nice juicy base that's in the pot that you can end up moving the meat around in to develop the flavor, just like gravy or anything like that. But it's very savory, and it comes from the meat itself. If you season properly, the juices from the meat will come through when it cooks out. Now here's the thing. You see I'm sprinkling this stuff on there. I'm not throwing it on there, because when you season, you want the seasoning to land on the meat. Okay, like you see on a snowy day, when the snowflakes come and land on the cars and on the buildings and everything else. The reason why is because when you season from the wrist, not from the elbow. You don't want an excessive amount of seasoning to get on the meat. You want an even layer, because an even layer you can manipulate, okay? If you got chunks and clods and everything like that, you're gonna have a situation where it's going to be clumping up and falling off of the meat once it's cooked. And then you're gonna have that problem I talk about where the flavor is in the bite and not the chew. If the flavor's in the bite, you're gonna get that mouthful of rub and seasoning and everything else. And a few chomps in, you're gonna realize that the meat is bland. But if you season it properly and evenly, you'll get the opportunity for that flavor to basically be infused all the way to the bone. Now, here is the kicker, the turbo booster as it were. In order to make sure that this meat is properly seasoned and you seal in the flavor, I prefer to use Worcestershire sauce, which helps break down the seasoning. And when that seasoning breaks down into scored meat, because we're rubbing it around here with that coarse sea salt mixed in with all those herbs and seasonings, it helps to make sure that the meat is more porous at that point, and then the Worcestershire sauce helps to break down the seasoning and helps it directly seep into the tissue. And the longer you marinate it like this, I don't recommend you doing it too long, but the longer you marinate it like this, especially if you vacuum seal it, you're gonna ensure that you have really deep and intense flavor. So I'm getting these on here so they're fairly moist because I want all of them to have some of that Worcestershire sauce on them, okay? Because it's gonna basically go ahead and start breaking down those seasonings for you. Because the meat itself is being broken down naturally anyway. But when you add the Worcestershire sauce with the seasonings, you get a situation where it seeps into the meat. Once you've got it evenly seasoned and you have the Worcestershire sauce and everything else there, what ends up happening is you have a nice, robust color to the meat, okay? Because once you do that, you know it's deeply seasoned enough so that when you put it on the smoker, it's going to cook. The juices, natural juices, is gonna cook their way out through the meat. It's gonna be infused with the seasoning and marinade that you added, and it's gonna capitalize on the ability to receive that smoke from the smoker for an extended period of time. The combination of those things is gonna make your barbecue undefeated because you know how to prepare and season it, you know how to apply that smoke, and everybody's going to enjoy it. So what we're gonna do next is go ahead and make sure we take some of these, put them on the smoker so that we can start the cook. And then a little while after that, we'll bring them out and show you the color and texture and see how that flavor sets up for us to be successful in completing this dish and you learning how you can do it as well. So we're gonna go ahead and take these out, put them on the smoker, and then we'll be right back. All right, everyone. We're going to take these, which we already demonstrated, that we cut them into cubes, we properly season them and everything else. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them to Walter L. So I'm going to take these and put them on a middle rack because that's going to create a situation where it has the most even heat. It'll be about 275 degrees. Cook these for about an hour and a half. At 275 degrees, and then we'll proof them and they'll be ready to rock and roll. Close these big doors, seal in that heat, pump up that smoke, and then we'll be back later on so we can pull these bad boys out and then make sure that you guys have a flavor treat that we were talking about before. So once we get done with them after about an hour and a half in there on the smoker, I'll bring them back in the kitchen and I'm gonna show you what we've been looking forward to. With that, I'll be back in a moment. All right, everyone. We're back with You Know You Want This Smoke by the Invincible Chef. This episode, we were making pork belly burnt ends for the win. They're almost done, but before we take you out to the grill and pull them off, I wanna introduce you to the next great spirit that you'll be enjoying. It's called Cornerstone Vodka by Pick 4 Spirits. It's an exceptionally smooth Green 12 vodka, which mixes well and is very nice and smooth, delicate even when drank on its own. Makes a great martini, a great Cosmo, and any of the other spirits. Cornerstone Vodka, it is the taste you can build upon. This episode is sponsored by Pick 4 Spirits and Cornerstone Vodka, and you can order your own from Taste of Mexico. This is the QR code, and in the episode, we'll have the link posted so that you can order it on your own through our distributor, 88 Spirits in Ontario, California. Shout outs to Hari Diamond, who is our distributor that helped us get going. So once again, Cornerstone Vodka, the taste you can build upon. Go ahead and order your bottle now, and let me tell you, you won't regret it. Welcome back, everyone. Now, we just removed these pork belly burnt ends from the smoker. Now, here's the finishing phase. Now, I generally don't use sauce for my meats because the flavor shines through based on the preparation, the seasonings, the marinade, and everything else, and the application of smoke. These are smoked with a combination of oak, cherry, and apple wood, therefore giving it a lot of color and texture to add to that flavor profile. Now, at this stage right here, you can eat them just like this. But a lot of people, because this is barbecue, they want to put the sauce into the game. So what we're gonna do is take a cup of this sauce and just pour it right across there. You can see that landing on them. And once it gets in there, you gotta get it in between all the crevices, get a nice coating on all of the pieces. Now, I generally don't use sauce because some people drench their meats with sauces, and it disguises some inadequacies in flavor, some overcooking and things like that. I like for people to savor the meat first, and I have the sauce as an option. And 9 times out of 10, I'll come by a table and they haven't even touched the sauce. Shout out to the people that taught me how to actually prepare barbecue. But once we get there, oh, the smell of that sauce is so strong. Got a nice, you smell that tanginess and everything from the vinegar that's in the base. And now, we have a whole bunch of nice, deep red, tender, well covered and well sauced pieces of pork belly burnt ends that are nice and tender, easy to tear, delectable to chew, and delicious. I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy them quite a bit. So what you want to do is go ahead and take these and you can plate them, or you can put them in the oven for about 15 minutes at 275 to 300, and you can caramelize that barbecue sauce on there and give it a nice sticky coating. Do it full of flavor, and it adds to the experience. Your choice. There's no wrong way to do this, just like with art. It's just different techniques. But what you just witnessed was the Invincible Chef pork belly burnt ends technique. It's very easy to do. If you follow it, you'll get your recipe down, you'll get your confidence up, and next thing you know, you'll be the king of the barbecue in your neighborhood. Once again, this is me, the Invincible Chef. You know you want this smoke. It's been pork belly burnt ends. Y'all have a good day. I'm gonna enjoy some of these. Yeah, that was definitely worth the work. I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.